I've been selling on Facebook Marketplace now for years, and I have seen my fair share of scams. I have compiled a list of things to look out for when you're getting started on Facebook so that you can avoid the scams and make sure that you don't get taken advantage of. Let's get into it. Number one, the first thing you need to look out for are newly created Facebook profiles. A lot of times, scammers, when they're trying to take advantage of people, they're going to end up getting caught. They're going to get reported, and so they're always making new Facebook accounts. And so, one of the best ways to see if the person that is either trying to buy from you or sell to you, to see if they're a scammer, is to see how recent their profile is. And what I would look for is when was their profile created and see what's generally on their profile. Most people use Facebook as a social media platform like it was designed. And so people who are truly authentic and that are actually trying to buy or sell will have some sort of information on their profile to show that they are a real human being. Always look for brand new profiles. The second thing that you can look out for is their seller profile. When you go to buy something from somebody or to sell to them, you can see their profile on Facebook Marketplace. And one thing that I've seen very consistently with scammers is that they will post product, and then when I click into their profile, I'll see that product listed like 10 or 15 times as 10 or 15 different posts. Usually priced exactly the same with the exact same pictures, but what they're doing is they're just creating as many posts as possible to try and get people to come in and buy what they're selling. But if you see something like that on a profile, it is pretty much 100% a scam. So watch out for seller profiles. Something else on the seller profile that you'll be able to see is ratings from other buyers and sellers. If you're not seeing ratings from other buyers and sellers, it's also possible that either they're a brand new participant on Facebook Marketplace, or they're a scammer. So make sure you check their profile, and specifically their e-commerce profile to make sure that they're legit. All right, this next one is something that gets people a lot. So make sure you listen closely. Scammers are really smart. They play to your emotion. They know that you are just an average, probably generally nice person who wants to help someone. And so what they're going to do is they're going to try and play to your emotions. They're going to say, oh, Facebook Messenger isn't a great place to communicate with you. Would it be all right if we took it off texting or to another texting app so that it's easier for us to communicate? This is a sign of a scammer. What they're doing is they're taking the conversation off of Facebook Marketplace so that they can control it. If someone's wanting to take the conversation off of Facebook Marketplace, it's not worth wasting your time. Just turn around, don't bother doing business with them, because all they're trying to do is play you. And eventually what that's going to look like is taking advantage of you, taking your product, and possibly you not getting paid at the end of the day. Next up is good old number 4. We have red flags when it comes to the transaction process. The first one is that there's a story. People will say, oh, I'm interested in this product, but I'm buying it for my brother, and my brother doesn't have any cash. He doesn't have a credit card. Would you be willing to take payment on this maybe somewhat obscure app? So if people are kind of beating around the bush, they're not finding a really easy way to pay you, or they're trying to make excuses or anything like that, especially if it involves an app that you've maybe never heard of for payment, it's probably just not worth doing. The safest bet in most cases is cash, doing a cash transaction. Many people use PayPal or Venmo. Those are typically very safe. You can have buyer protection set up on those apps to avoid being scammed. And so mostly if people are using cash, Venmo, or PayPal, you're probably good to go. One of the ones that scammers like to push you to is called Zelle. You can actually transact on Zelle. It's safe. But if people are pushing you to Zelle, that's typically one that scammers like to try and push you to. It's one that's not as commonly used, especially here in the United States. And so just be careful, be wary, and make sure that if it doesn't feel right, to kind of close it off, then maybe look for another buyer. Last but not least, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. I know a lot of these tips have been kind of for the seller on the seller side, but this also goes for the buyer side. There are so many times where I will see something pop up on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe it's listed for free, or maybe it's listed for a price that just seems really, really good, too good to pass up, in fact. And in the early days, I would always look at those and go, oh man, I need to jump on this as quickly as possible. But in the end, it would just end up being a scam. People would end up wanting deposits down, so to hold the product or something like that, when I could just be available to pick it up now. it's obvious that they're just trying to get as many people interested as possible, maybe take a little deposit from them, and then just run away with your money. In fact, there was just one of these cases actually not too long ago. The post looked completely legitimate. Someone had posted from a profile that looked pretty legitimate. It had probably been hacked, honestly. And they had posted a ton of things. They said, oh, we're moving out of this area and we're selling everything in our house. And everything was priced. It was priced really well, like a good deal, but it wasn't too much of a good deal that it set off any red flags for me. And again, I've been doing this for years, and this was probably just a month ago. I was looking to buy a fridge, and I messaged as quickly as possible, and I said, hey, I'm really interested in coming to take a look at this fridge. Is that possible? And as I was messaging, I went back to look at the post, and the post had disappeared. The listing had disappeared, but I was still in communication with this person, and they said, yes, it's available. And then I said, okay, I'm interested. They said, oh, I have other people interested. And then as the conversation continued to go on, I kind of started putting the pieces together. The post had disappeared. It had been taken down for some reason. They were kind of beating around the bush. They weren't being very forward or upfront. And then finally, they asked for a deposit on this refrigerator. They said, oh, there's other people. We'll hold your place in line. And at that point, I just knew that it was a scam and that it really wasn't worth pursuing. So even me, someone who's been participating in this for years and years, there are times where I'll say, oh man, this looks kind of like would be a good deal. But in most cases, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Now, if you find things for free that are listed, occasionally, if you kind of check all the other boxes that I've walked through, occasionally people do just list good things, like good things for free or for really cheap, but it doesn't happen all the time. It's going to be more of a rare occasion where somebody's giving something up of value and not getting any value back. I hope these tips have been really helpful for you. If you found any of them helpful, I'd really appreciate a like on this video. It shows YouTube that we're doing good things here. And if you enjoy this content and other content relating to making money, saving, anything finance, side hustle, those sorts of things, that's what this channel is all about, and we are trying to grow as fast as we can. So give us a subscribe, share the videos if you found them helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.